Hi, we're just waiting for a few for the rest of the panelists to join, and then we can start. Thank you.
Yes. Hello,
Yes.
good evening. Good evening,
Good
Padmavathi,
evening.
Chaitra.
Good evening, Ayushree.
Yes, wonderful to have you both with us today for the Vidphone show, where this is the seventh session where we are talking obviously to two more, to another two powerful women from Mysore. And thanks to Shri for introducing us to you. She would be joining us shortly too. She's just delayed by a few minutes due to some commitments. So, we'll just start the session because now we are live on Vidphone. And while we are live at Vidphone, we are live on all our social media channels. That's LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, and which means a lot of people are already viewing us live. So I will go ahead and introduce, this session a little, talk a little about Bitcoin and you both, and then let's hear your stories from your way. Very excited to know both of you and learn more about both of you, your journeys, and I'm sure we'll have an exciting session ahead. Thank
Thank
you
you.
again for taking out time to do this for us today.
Thank you.
So Vidphone is a video commerce platform where we help D2C and B2C brands in their sales and marketing, basically sell live on video. How can you use the power of live video in today's world to sell? How can you create, your brand identity? Like, what can be, like a video can be a medium through which you create your brand identity. How can brands have a video identity? And we help brands, startups, enterprises do exactly this. We have a platform, we have a tech platform which we do this. We have a set of tools for each stage of the customer journey, from from the time someone doesn't know about what you do till the time you have converted them to your customer, and even after sales support. We have tools for every stage of the funnel, because we do believe that video is a medium that can reach to thousands of people. Video is vernacular. So that means there's no language barrier, and obviously combining video and commerce is the way to go ahead for brands, etc. And that's what we do. We would love to collaborate with brands and individuals at various levels to help them achieve this. So today we have two women with us from Mysore again. And first, we have Dr. Chaitra Bharath, who is a seasoned entrepreneur, co founder, Krishi Junction, agriculture, and an agri business educator. Thank you, Chaitra, for joining us. We are really excited to know more about your story from you. Next, we have Padmavathi S. Bhat, who is again a serial entrepreneur, a founder, Udupi Kitchen, Prithvi Business, My Home Homestay, and Creative Pool, honorary secretary at WISE, charter president at BBB Diwan, Purnai's chapter, among others. So both these ladies have a lot to their caps, I would say, and both are serial entrepreneurs. And I'm sure, and I have, while I was going through your bios, I also came across that you both have done parallel things in the world of entrepreneurship. It's not like just one thing. So would love to hear more from you guys. Chaitra, would start with you. Please do tell us a little bit about how about yourself, obviously, the business side of things aside, and then how did entrepreneurship happen? Were you always an entrepreneur, or did you turn into one? Have you ever been in the corporate? We just like to know a little bit on that story.
Thank you, Ayushree, and thank you, Vidphone, for organizing this amazing platform to bring women with similar interests and the wish to fly high on the same platform. Shri has joined us. Welcome,
Yes,
Shri. We are very
right
excited to have
at the
you.
right time. Yes, we were just Shri. So I just introduced our show, obviously, where the focus is about talking to women from the tier 2 cities, especially Mysore this time, and getting them to our platform to tell their stories their way. And I was just introducing Dr. Chaitra and Padmavati, and just that's when you joined us. So
Right
yes,
timing.
yes. So over to you, Dr. Chaitra. Please go
Yes.
ahead.
Sure. So, you see, I have a BSc in agriculture, and after my BSc, I went on to one of the pioneer institute of agribusiness management, that is National Institute of Agricultural Extension Management in Hyderabad. It was a very intensive course of 2 years where we were really tuned into the business world. So back in the days when I was in my early 20s, I always imagined myself to be in a corporate life. So I imagine myself not as an entrepreneur, frankly, but more to do with a big MNC. So that was my dream, to go to a nice big office, high floor, and have a big nice view of whatever city I'm living in. And that was how I would perceive myself 10 years or 15 years down the lane. um, I got married to a Mysorean who was living in Dubai back then. That's Bharath, and my husband was in Dubai when I got married. So I moved to Dubai and I started working for Procter and Gamble. Procter and Gamble, being such a big MNC, gave me a lot of exposure working with multi nationals. We had so many people in one single office coming from different nationalities and cultural backgrounds. That was a huge exposure for me and experience for me. um, Fast forward 3 years, I came to Mysore for my first delivery, and somehow I didn't want to go back. I wanted to stay in Mysore. I said, "This is my route. If there's something I need to do, I have to do it here." I would be comfortable with my children growing up with both the set of grandparents living in the same city. I can't take that away from my kids. So I said, let me start doing something here. But as you know, switching suddenly from corporate life to entrepreneurship doesn't happen. So I didn't have any ideas. So
Yeah.
I started teaching in University of Mysore. They called for a guest faculty, and I started teaching. While teaching, I understood that there's a lot of gap between academia and industry, especially in soft skills. And me coming back from Dubai and from being from agriculture background, where I've studied with a lot of students who come from rural background, I understand where they lack confidence. It may be their body language, their English skills. So I thought, okay, this is where I can bring some value into the system. So I started Phoenix Academy. With Phoenix Academy, that was my first venture. There was absolutely no investment because I was the skill set, I was the resource, everything. So I started it off. It did well, but I couldn't take it off to a higher level because when I approached colleges, they said we have Bangalore companies coming in. So there are 10 people who come and do different sessions in different classes. So do you have a team? I hadn't built a team. It was just me, one solo flyer. So somewhere there was a break to that. So back to teaching, and I mean, that continued. Teaching was always there. COVID hit. With COVID, we started doing online classes. With online classes, I decided that why, when it's online, should I be the only resource my students get? Now the stage is open. I can actually give them the access to many more people who are much more knowledgeable, much more experienced than me. With that, started the series called Webinars with Dr. Chaitra Bharath. And that is where my present business partner, Dr. Nitesh, saw me and he approached me. And he's a much younger guy. He just finished his PhD. And he approached me and said, Ma'am, I have this website that I've already created. I have access to more than 2,000 students there. So you're doing these webinars. Why don't you start marketing it on my website? So we started talking, and then we came up with different ideas what to do for students from agriculture background. So there were no online resources for them to crack the competitive exam. Okay. So we came up with that. We registered a company. We set about making resources like something like Byju's, but specifically for agriculture students. Trust me, it was a big failure. Students just don't open their money when it comes to education. Okay, they have enough money to go to movies or go out and have fun, but when it comes to education, it's very hard for you to convert sales. So when we were hit, we understood that okay, so we are marketing this product to the wrong audience. So whom should we go to? Byju's is targeting the
Parents.
parents, right?
Parents.
So can we target the parents? No. Most of the agriculture students come from rural background. Their parents themselves are short of money. They're not educated themselves. So that's not the audience we're looking for. So if we go to the universities now, they're going to tell us we are also teaching them how can we send our own students to a third party to learn something. So we were universities competitors. So our positioning was not right, and we couldn't figure out what we were doing.
Mm.
And then the product came to us. So the universities asked us, see, we do these conferences. If you can help us do something for this, because you're already into IT and resources, you've built something. So can you give us something similar to that? So we, I would say the product came to us rather than we getting the product and going to the market. The market was there, it needed that product, and the audience asked us for it. So we've been building our product for 2 years now, and 1 year of building, 1 year of going actively onto the market. And I'm very proud to say that in the first year we did more than 35 events.
Wonderful, wonderful. Congratulations,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Chaitra. And it's wonderful to know, your story and the pivot, how it came along. I mean, it's not maybe usually in businesses, you have to find the pivots yourself, depending, learning from customer stories or market research. But
Yes.
the point where you said, the product came to you, that is an interesting point, I think, to take away from your journey, that, it may happen either ways. And obviously, like you said, another interesting thing was how you have always dreamt to be in corporate, but how I think entrepreneurship chose you, or vice
Yeah.
versa. So congratulations. Very happy to have you on this show and talk more about your journey. We'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Padmavathi, it's been so lovely to see your bio. There I think 4 to 5 enterprises under your name. So we would like to know, how did it all begin? Has it always been entrepreneurship? How did your journey start? Please tell us a little bit about how it all started. Which was the first enterprise? Which is what is active currently, or is everything active? So please let us know, about a little bit on your journey.
Yeah, namaste everyone. It so happened I'm a software engineer from National Institute of Engineering, Mysore. Then I always dreamt of doing something in Mysore, but it so happened that I got married after my 1.5 years of my educations. For first year I taught in Banmaya Polytechnic also as a teacher, and then I went to Muscat because my husband was working there. I worked there for 5 years as an EDP executive and a systems engineer for Ramesh Kimji group of companies and BP. Now presently it is called as Oman Oil. I worked there for 5 6 years, and then my daughter was um, by I think by around 6 years I worked and came back for a year, and then again I went back and I worked for another 5 years. So by that time, my daughter was around, she was studying in fifth standard. And then I thought, this is a time, my son was just 3 years. And then I thought, this is a time I should come back. And I always wanted to come back and settle down in Mysore. My husband was still working there. And then it so happened that it was a very tough time after 10 years of work there, coming and searching job in IT. Everybody said you are overqualified, that, this, and somehow it was not gelling. And then I said, okay, leave it, I will start my own company. And then that is how I started my creative pool. I'm into web design, graphic design, and digital marketing, and that I'm still doing. It's now my 20th year of my first business actually. And then after 3 years my husband came back, and then we started another company called Prithvi Business. We are into industrial painting contracts there. That industrial execution my husband takes part. We are leading painting contractors for all industries like Nestle, HUL, all over India. And then that part he's doing it, and then other part of the industry, part of that work I'm taking care. And then what happens is homestay, it happened as it is because we had a property and we started that. My latest project was on Udupi Kitchen. We are basically hoteliers. My parents were hoteliers. And then we always wanted to start something in the hotel industry. Then I said not to start a hotel. Instead, we'll start a batter manufacturing unit, because all my previous ventures were all into service industries. I said,
Yeah,
let me start
got it.
a product manufacturing unit. So where I started idli dosa batter manufacturing, idli dosa and vada and fresh grated coconut. And actually, people of Mysore took very well. And then the problem was COVID hit. It was
Hmm.
in
Yeah.
November. I mean, just before COVID, I had started that industry that, and it was little tough in the beginning. But I did the reverse engineering during COVID. Even during COVID, since it was a food essential unit, I used to supply home to homes also directly, and then to the shops. In the beginning, getting delivering to shops was very difficult, because there are a lot of products already in the market. Why one more? That was the idea people had. But it went a reverse engineering. Like, people started asking for the brand in the shops. That is how people brands means the shops started asking for my brand. And now I'm available in most of the shops in Mysore, and I'm doing quite okay. And I'm looking for to expand it to Bangalore, and all the basic works are ready. And that was my fourth one. And I would also like to add, I recently started a week back a restaurant called Bhat's Udpi Kitchen, which I have not mentioned in the resume till now, because it is only a week old now.
I just saw that thing on the group. I think you have shared it with us,
Yeah,
right? Yes.
that's basically, I wanted to promote my products. So how better way than that is an experience outlet for using my
Wonderful.
batters there. We are doing the same batters and giving the products. So that is my fifth venture as of now. And in
Wonderful.
between, I have also been practicing astrology, because I have learned astrology for last. Once I came back from Muscat, I got into this also, and I'm a practicing astrologer also.
Wonderful, wonderful. No, thanks a lot, for sharing that. And it's so amazing to hear these stories. Thank you so much, Shri, for, getting such amazing women. And, while I speak to both of you again, yet again, Shri, while I was talking to them and how Dr. Chaitra obviously spoke about, how she started with webinars, etc. And, now, like I was talking about what we do at Bitphone also, we are trying to work with founders to use this power of video, to market. I mean, how can you use video today and through your own, personality marketing? Because who can be better marketers than you yourself, right, for your products or services? So, I mean, wonderful to see you women doing such wonderful work, and would love to collaborate with, all of you to see how we can work together. Shri, before I move on, obviously, I had two questions here. I had a little bit, but I think both of them did. I mean, they combined their answers into one, and we have already covered the first two. Where I wanted to, so now, Shri, over to you to ask something, to tell us something that we don't know from their bios, because you always tell us, something more that you know about them. So please feel free, and then I'll move on to my questions after you. Over to you.
Thank you, Ayushree, and welcome, Dr. Chaitra and Padma. Absolute pleasure to have you on this platform for
Thank you.
all the good reasons. One, you inspire. And second, most important thing, that with all these accolades and feathers in your cap or back, you still are as humble as a humility is thy word. This is something I've learned a lot in Mysore. How much ever they accomplish, they'll just show as if that is the bare minimum, and there is a, and that's why that interests me, because the competition is with yourself. It's not about proving anything to anybody. And when the competition is with yourself, like playing golf is a sport. You don't compete with anybody, you compete with yourself, that the next shot has to be better than the previous. And that's how I think women from Mysore are doing. And more so, I have seen, I mean, Dr. Chaitra, seriously, she's the humblest person I have seen, with the accolades that she has, with the education she has, with the acumen of a businesswoman she has. And Padma, as you have already heard, her 5 businesses under her hands, and she speaks as if it is all easy. Here, running one business itself, we are sweating around, and you are running around, and you are saying, "Hey, I'm not able to manage the time." And Our Lady speaks as if like it's like a flute. Actually, when she was speaking, I was like, uh-huh. 5 businesses, 5 different businesses. Not that
Different.
everything one vada, one dosa, one idu batter. It is
Yeah.
5 different types of businesses. Engineer on her own as education, and still she takes pride in doing what she is doing. I think lots to learn from all of these women. So I'll just come to you girls for one question that might be you must have answered it multiple times also, but very important. As a woman entrepreneur, yeah, and we, at least all of us here who stay in Mysore, Ayushri, we know that we have, apart from us working, there is a society to be taken care of. You just cannot say that, in Bangalore it is little different. I have a meeting and I go off. And here I have a meeting and I want to go off, but before that I want to make sure that the food is on the table and everybody is taken care of. Hey, so, Dr. Chaitra, if I can start with you, and Chaitra is amazing person because she didn't tell. I don't know whether she spoke about this or not, but she has a very beautiful hotel oblique restaurant oblique pub oblique place where all the women can get together and just
Oh,
have
wonderful.
easy evening out there. Hey, so both for both of you, actually, the question remains the same, but it is just that we are doing it on a different
Yeah.
uh, different answers, maybe. That what is that unique challenge you faced as a woman entrepreneur in Mysore, and how did you overcome it? And I'm pretty sure you both had enough of it.
Um, shall I go
Challenges.
first? Is it okay? Yeah.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
So the biggest challenge for me was not because I was a woman, but that was an advantage, I would say. uh, I came across this catalyst for women entrepreneurs, which was a program under Startup Karnataka, and I got incubated for 4 months under that, and that is where I met Shri. That was a big, beautiful platform, a beautiful place to meet like-minded individuals, to be mentored, but by great minds. So I would say my trump card was that I was a woman, and that gave me an edge to get onto that platform and learn so much early into my business. So when I faced my first failure of the students not taking up my product, I was flexible. I was confident that this is just a stepping stone, and I don't need to close shop and just go on with something else. So that was a good place to start with. The biggest challenge, I would say, was my mindset from moving from an academician to an actual business person. So I've been teaching marketing for 9 years, but never done actual marketing, converting marketing to sales. That's a entirely different ball. When you're teaching it from a textbook, from the exam point of view, to actually come into the market. So for me, it was a lot of unlearning and relearning, and literally 9 years of your nerves being wired in a certain way. It was breaking those bonds of my nerves and rewiring everything in my head. And my family has been very supportive. My kids have been very supportive. I have two boys, 10 and 4.5. So yes, they get
पापा
cranky.
कार्तिक के जो है डॉक्टर है, मम्मी डॉक्टर है, छोटी बहन कृतिका ये भी डॉक्टर है. अच्छा, मम्मी डॉक्टर, पापा डॉक्टर, बहन डॉक्टर.
Not sure. Okay, okay. No.
So it is a challenge on an everyday basis, but I wouldn't highlight it because it's part of life. And when you have those challenges, it becomes more enjoyable. I believe that I'm setting a standard for my boys to grow up to and see how they need to treat their wives, and give them that space for my daughter-in-laws to grow as well. So I I keep telling myself that if I stop now, I'm stopping not just for myself, but for my next generation. So I just
Yeah.
have to keep going.
Very, very true. And very nice to hear that you are thinking that ahead of time. But
I know.
I really can't think of you becoming a Sasuma so early. I mean, so I don't know how early your kids are growing up. And I'm sure as a mother, you'd say that. But I don't think I want to see you as a mother-in-law in near future. So rest assured, please let them grow little slowly. And
I know.
you carry out the work that you are carrying. Definitely, that is very, very admirable and really long sightedness, vision for yourself as well as for your household. I think I admire that there.
Yeah.
Coming to you, Padmavati, if I can just twist this question a little bit, because rather than, it's a very typical question, what are the challenges? I mean, rather than challenges. Um, in the local community, because Mysore based business, Mysore groomed business, and is growing out now into the domestic market to Bangalore. And I'm very sure very soon we will see you giving a competition to ID, because that's where I see Udupi Kitchen. I have used your products, I've used ID's product, and if given a choice when I go to the market, yes, I am biased because you are Mysorean and I stay in Mysore. But more than that, even as a batter to make any of your products, I find your batter to be much more smoother. Let us accept that. And but yes, ID has a huge market, and ID has a very big name, and ID is expanding like nobody's business, and they have a lot of money also to put on, especially for the advertisements. Hey, every now and then they come up with something new just to keep that TRP up, and so that you finally end up not buying that new product, you end up buying that dosa ittu only. But still, they keep doing that so that the interest part is maintained. So that might be their marketing strategy, and absolutely fine with it. But the question to you is, how has your business impacted the local community? Because from Mysore, when you started, there might have been a lot of things. Yes, as much as you say that people did love and they took it, I'm telling. I mean, what my understanding is, Mysoreans still love to do things on their own.
Yes.
So it's not like they will go to the market and pick up a two and start making dosa out there. It must have taken a slow change where now people say, okay, I'll take this. And what were those strategies where the community came together to support you or encourage you, or how did it, like there might have been some points where you must have seen the challenge, hey?
Yeah, that is still a challenge, to tell you frankly, because Mysoreans are not normally, they don't accept changes very fast. That
Yes.
is one thing we should accept as a Mysorean, because uh, f- even for when I started even my first company, it is a challenge to start anything in Mysore. It's not for a female, even for a male. I'm telling that because I normally don't project, go and sit in front of anybody saying that I'm a lady and then do it. No, I don't project that at all, because I always get get along men very well, because I don't project it as a any entity, it is a female or
Yeah.
oriented business or something like that. I don't do it, because when I am competing in this industry,
Yeah.
for that matter any industry, I'm not doing it because I want some soft corner from somebody and get it done. No, you give me a job because you believe in my work and you give it to me. That is how I started my
Absolutely.
creative pool. Even I have done projects. If you remember, there was a Dasra time, they did a train. That was a train there in Nanjangud, which was a small historic train which was kept, and they decorated with everything possible about in Mysore during that Dasra. That was a, I even climbed the train to do that work with my people during that time. So I
Wow.
have been doing all sorts of job, even in the industry of ads and all those things. So coming to this Udupi kitchen, the greatest challenge, as you said, it is not possible to change homes at Mysore basically. But slowly there is a trend, because they are realizing that they are getting a better product than what they
Yes.
can make it at home. So that is a slow change which is coming in, and that is as good as what they are making it. So why not? Because when you do it at home, you want a bigger quantity, you have to do it, you can't do it little quantity at all. What you're getting is one packet, hardly for the whole family it is enough. And that is how that slow changing is coming up, and it
Yeah.
is a long way. I know Bangalore market is entirely different because they cannot sustain without the batters there. But here it is still a long way to go, but still it will change in the future. I definitely believe that.
No, I totally agree with you. And I mean, I have seen Mysore, at least you both were Mysoreans. I came from outside. I was a foreigner to Mysore and I got accepted as Mysorean. And I know initial years, I used to have this fun talk with people. People would say that because I had come from Canada actually. So everybody, when you come back from outside, everybody says, how are you adjusting? And dust doesn't bother you. The work doesn't bother you. People don't bother you. And Padmavati ma'am, the one thing which I totally believe, and you really reiterated very nicely, that the entrepreneurship is gender. It's
Yeah,
not gender biased. I mean, you can't have a thing saying that it's all nice to talk that I'm a woman entrepreneur, but actually
at the end of the day it is not there. That is
it
the
has
thing.
nothing to do with that. And the problems that you face of funding to the market access to, sales and everything is the same thing why what a man also will fail. Yes, we have that added responsibility of making that morning coffee se leke evening
Yes,
masru.
yes,
So we have that added, and plus the tithis and the festivals and all anything and everything in between. So we
yeah,
have that added responsibility. But
yes.
problems are same.
And even till date I do the same thing. In the morning I finish everything and leave my home, and then
Yes.
evening I come and do the rest. So even though there are the help at home, but still the basic cooking has to be done. I don't myself, it is not the problem of the people at home, but my I myself can't take it actually. So I normally finish all those things at home. And I have a lot of support from my husband and my kids also. I have two kids. My daughter, she studied MS and she's working in USA now. And my son, he's just finished his dental and he's looking out for, means for MDS. He's looking for the seats now. So their support is continuously there, because once I became an entrepreneur, I was not an entrepreneur in the beginning, but still their support was very good. So which took off actually. When I come home, they are very very cooperative and all those things. So that helped a lot also.
Absolutely. How's the values that you have instilled in them definitely would have helped them to understand. Plus, understanding that mom is not just to be taken for granted. I mean, see, the children will have their own children, but still the moms are required. मतलब in Hindi they say this: बच्चों के बच्चे भी हो जाए तो भी माँ जो है वो she will always be mother only. That is how it is. That you would always require your mom. At this age we require our moms. So
Yeah.
I think so. Telling these kids
And
not to
one more
explore.
thing I always find the problem is, normally the organizations do women and women, or even though they are a general organization, they do women organization separate from their main organization. I find it very ridiculous, because
Yes.
everybody are entrepreneurs, and why do we require a separate? If it was together, the opportunities would have been better and we could reach better places. But I don't know, that is still the mentality. Even anywhere you go, that's the same mentality. They do a women organization and keep them separate.
And the funny part is actually in real world, Padmavati, you also have realized, or Dr. Chaitra would have realized, or even Ayushree would have realized. In real world, there is no other. You have to deal with everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
If you want to be successful, then there is no some separate, reservation kind of thing that women will help. In fact, women will not help each other. Let
Yes,
me tell you that.
that's the
Uh,
biggest problem also. Yeah.
Enough of reasons to believe that we can work with men easily rather than the women part, actually, to be truthful. Nevertheless, I'll keep finding out something new and something different that you girls always inspire me to. And just one question maybe, and then passing on to Ayushree again. Dr. Chaitra, what are the resource or support systems have been most beneficial to you? And I'm not meaning from the household, from the industry, from the work part. So right now, just like we said, even if you are a woman, it doesn't matter. Entrepreneurship is gender neutral.
Yes.
I don't see any reason why we should be saying that because we are women, so please give us some benefit or concession. No, we don't want it. In fact, we are
Yes.
we are capable, we are
Yeah.
much better, and we do not need that thing. In fact, we would be able to create something for you. So definitely there is a no, and take pride in saying this.
Yes.
But what was the resource or support system that have been beneficial to you in your business, and especially growing this business in tier 2 cities?
Yeah. In fact, Dr. Chatra, before I hand it over to you, I would just like to add, in fact, that is why, on this entire women discussion, Shri and I also, these stories that we want to get out, from women like you are also for other, girls or, women starting out to get inspired from. They should not think that, in any way that they are, they should be behind, or they won't get equal opportunities, or that is our reason. Obviously we get men also, and but we have a separate thing for all entrepreneurs. That here we just wanted to, because for us, I also feel we are from the privileged circle. That way we
Absolutely.
have access. There are women who still do not have that privilege, so for them that thing is still required,
Yes.
according to me, because I've also worked with a lot of women earlier, like she already knows, women entrepreneurs. So I feel that is where the need arises. So, where our stories can actually impact women uh, who may not be that privileged, to come up and actually start something or to have a voice. So, I mean, that is the entire, one idea about behind me and she starting this series too. Yes. Over to you, Dr. Chatra. Just wanted to put that out.
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. So, the resources that I've had outside my family would be my alumni network from the colleges that I studied. So, because I also taught in University of Mysore, I've been part of University of Agriculture Sciences, Bangalore, which comes under the ICAR, that is Indian Council of Agriculture Research. The network is huge, and because of that network I've been able to market my product throughout the country. So we're not location based. We, because it is digital services, we've been doing that, and for the events we travel. I've also been able to hire from that talent pool. There are a lot of women like me who've got married, had a child, and they're not able to step out and work. So we have so many roles in my company that these people who are highly educated, but just because they're not able to step out of the house, they're able to do it with a lot of flexibility and part time. So that's been a big resource. In Mysore, it's a small community, and I have access to all the, I would say, the financial resources. I mean, to say my chartered accountant is a very close friend. My lawyer is a friend. So, living in a tier two city, everybody around you. So you can actually knock on their door anytime and say, listen, I have a confusion. Should I file this under assets, or should I file it under, purchase, yeah, expense? See, when you start off with a business, these are the small things you don't understand, and you need somebody to explain something in the language that you'll understand. I'm not meaning in the language Kannada or Hindi or English. It's like the way you will understand. So make it simple, break it down into terms that you will understand. So I think those were the resources that I was very fortunate to have. CWE was another resource that I stumbled upon on Instagram. So girls out there, women out there who are, if you are on Facebook or Instagram, you come across these trainings or workshops which are being done by government agencies or reputed agencies. Please attend them. Most of them are free. You don't know what they have to offer until you attend them. You might not gain anything from the speakers, but you might network with someone who might come of use later on in life. So be open to things that are all around us. um, Make the best of everything that you can get.
Perfect, perfect. And this is what I wanted to hear rather than, just on to as to what exactly how we have done it or whatnot. Because the outside world, in fact, see, our families are with us, there's no doubt, and as rightly said, we are those privileged ones. We are not one of those where we have been told by our families to get inside the house and sit inside the house. We have been allowed, not allowed, we in fact we have been given more than what we have, more than even the brothers or the male counterparts in our houses. So education, freedom to do, freedom to choose, freedom to really go around and explore our own possibilities as well as our own strengths, until we ended up, all three of us, four of us, in fact. Even Ayushree is in the same thing. She's a little younger to all of us, so she's more like a kid for me, actually. But all four of us, we have been given on platter, where I don't think either way one of us have been told not to do this or that. We have done it, somewhere correct, somewhere not correct, but at the same time, always there has been a positive feedback coming for us. And when this comes in, obviously, and if we have done something in our lives, definitely there is somewhere I feel that we need to give it back to the society. It's our not it's our somewhere, I feel, I mean, and this is really deep in my heart sometimes, not sometimes, most of the times, and that's what brought me back to India also. I did my education here, went all the way to Canada. I was there, I was working on Pfizer projects as a scientist. So the education in India was at par with what we were doing. You did it at NIE, Padmavathi, and when you went to Dubai or Middle East, your education was at par with anybody who must have come from an IIT or IIM or whatever that is, right? Or Harvard or even other countries, because all of us have worked abroad, so we know what it means, that culture and that thing. And we still competed. We were very competent. We showed what we could do, and we took it under our sleeves, and we did not leave it. And same thing with, as young as Ayushree is there, and she is also really on one of those roads that I want to do it, I want to prove it. She doesn't need to. She just can sit aram se, and she'll be, kept on her hands. But then this young kid is also wanting to do something, prove to herself, not to anybody else, but prove to ourselves. So more and more, I feel we have. There is a necessity that people like us actually need to give it back. Jokingly, I generally tell to my people that, literally my education got over in 180 rupees. I was a girl child. Madhya Pradesh I got educated in MP, and MP always had for a girl child, it was always free. On top of it, my parents were professors. So 30 rupees is what schooling was over, 30 every month. 60 rupees is what college and post graduation was over, and 180 rupees the PhD was over. So, and I feel, and obviously those people were paid back. Hey, so some taxpayer money has gone back. So I take responsibility somewhere deep down that I need to give it back to society. So coming to you, Padmavathi, what is your one that advice that women who are aspiring to become entrepreneurs, and not just in India, outside the country, anywhere? mm, uh, what is your one advice to those girls to see that beautiful part of their lives?
Yeah. First thing is they have to believe in themselves. First thing is, we are always told this is what you have to do, and all those back then. But then, until you believe in yourself, you can't achieve something. So until you think that I can do this, you will not try also. until
Yeah.
we until we have that inner feeling that yes, I can do this. Nobody can stop you. Once you believe in yourself, then it happens. Okay. And then there definitely there is a requirement, as Ayushri said. There are a lot of people who are not privileged enough, but then you can find a lot of examples within them also. They are coming out, because that is the feeling within themselves that they have to do it, they can do it. That is, until you believe in yourself, nothing is possible. So first believe in yourself, and then look out for opportunities. There are opportunities everywhere. The moment you see something, you can convert that into an opportunity. There are gaps, so just look out for opportunities. Everybody asks me, how do you think of something, doing something? See, there are every second, if you see, it might be a possibility, it might not be a possibility, but there is a gap, and you have to see whether you can fill in that gap. Until we do that, we can't find out solutions. So and that is the second thing which I think of. And there are people who are ready to help also. See, there are a lot of organizations, and if you go to net and see, people nowadays, everybody has a mobile in the hand, and they can look out for all the websites and find out opportunities. See, everybody cannot be spoon fed. Okay, I have to do this. You can't do that. Even to the extent, like you we might handhold to some extent, but later on they have to move forward and find all the resources. Because finding out banks, people say that banks will help and all those things, but until you personally go sit and talk to the person, because the bank also has to believe in you. See, how you convince to the bank, all those matters. So I think first believe in yourself and then go for it. That is what I feel.
Thank you so much, Padmavati. I totally agree with you. I mean, nothing can be given on the platter. It will not sustain. You have to work for it and you have to get it. Absolutely, belief in yourself is the first mantra for all of us to come or grow in our lives. And then later on, see how we can take it to the next step and also help others to pass on. And I have always seen one thing, and I'm pretty sure all four of us will agree to it. It's not the family, it's actually the outsiders who help you more. Family will support, that is different, but the sales come from the outsider, not from the family. So I think that is where it is all about. As much as we carry the pride of our own families, we also carry enough of strength in ourselves as women. And this is something that I talk in my talks also. I tell this, that I have never not seen a woman entrepreneur crying and cribbing. She will find a way to navigate and find her way out. It is actually we are not that species that who will cry. So I generally tell this, that I have seen men farmers committing suicide, but I have not seen a woman. In fact, she will go and she will till the this one also land also, and she'll feed her kids also, and she'll take care of the in-laws also, or parents also. Basically, we are very strong species. Only we have to believe it. What Padmavati has been telling us: believe in yourself first. Over to you, Ayushree. Absolute pleasure talking to both of them and finding really the gems that where a lot of it was hidden, which I have known today now.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. And I think, Shri, you beautifully, structured your questions where we got to know so much through lesser questions, but, we got to know a lot. So I just have two last questions for you, Dr. Chaitra and Padmavati. Obviously, one, we spoke about your journey, a little bit on the challenges, from where you began, from where you are, etc. But I want to know, in this entire journey, I'm sure, your customers or people you work with, have been an integral part, your team, your customers. So, and they are the always also their stories sometimes are the motivation behind why you are still continuing to do what you do. So is there any story that you'd like to share with us today, one or two instances of your work impacting your team or a customer which have stayed with you, and which has told, which has motivated you to just continue doing what you do? So anything you would like to share, Dr. Chaitra, you first.
Well, I think it's the people whom I work with, because as I already told you, there are women who otherwise wouldn't be able to step out and do something. So they're a very integral part of my team, and to see that they are, effectively utilizing their education as well as their time, as well as having the flexibility to take care of their families during the vulnerable years especially, is a great thing to see, and that drives me, because I've been there myself, in my journey of womanhood. And yeah, the clients. See, in events, the clients are never the same ones that you service. They are, every time it's a new event and new challenges and new customers with different stories. So they all come with different challenges. Some are time bound, some are budget bound. And still, we give them our priority services and make them happy at the end of it. When their events are such a big success, their sponsors are happy that their money is utilized in the best way possible, and we are happy.
No, absolutely. And thank you. It's wonderful to know that, your work in turn is impacting so many others and enabling them. Thank you for sharing that. Padmavati, over to you to share any instances that might have stayed with you, or, just something that you would like to share with us.
Yeah, I always believed that customers are the king. So since I am into service industry, I always believed that, and then that is how I give service. You might not believe that website and web design companies lots have closed down. Only reason is it's not a sustainable business model as such, because website is done and it is finished. But nowadays we are seeing the extra work of digital marketing and all those things. But always I believed that, because at the end of the day, when I give a work, see to it that customer is satisfied. That is the reason I'm still there in that market. Otherwise, if you see, I during COVID I have come down a lot, because all those previous works what I was doing I've reduced, because I started off something else, but still I'm in the industry. And if coming to my batter, this one, as you said, employees, my company, all the women who are working in the factory are all women. So I take pride in telling that, because every one of them are motivated. The
Yeah,
amount of
that's so
work, the effort they put, you just can't imagine. So much of work is there, and they are not tired doing that work. So it's
yeah,
not an easy job at all to do that batter
yeah,
production. And it goes on systematically, because women
yeah.
are doing it. That it happens like a clockwork. Okay. And then one more story I would like to tell is a small one, but what keeps motivated. At the end of the day, when the batter is taken, some of my customers tell that they are waiting for the batter because they can feed their kids. So we believe in that, and that is the reason it keeps motivated. And uh, everybody wants that batter, because they know we are not no soda, no preservatives, nothing is there, and they are happy, and they are very much happy to take this batter, and I am very happy to take this for my kids. So that is the. And some kids, my son, at the end of evening when he comes back from school, he wants dosa only. So that is the motivating factor actually.
Wonderful, wonderful. And that's, I think, the way you connected your personal, your son wanting the batter to how it can create the ripple effect, you putting that to your business, and how that can also be a motivating factor. So wonderful, knowing that. Thank you so much. All heart touching stories and impacting so many people. And so we are almost at the end of today's show. I know we are almost at time, but I have one last question, which I feel is very important, for us to address. And like she and I always do that generally. So what do you think, post COVID, we all know the importance of going hybrid. The world no more is some that you have to go to office 5 days a week. It is a hybrid world. And I think it is going to stay that way, neither remote nor completely offline. But what are the tools and technologies that you have maybe used in your business, or what would you like to tell the importance of tools and technologies that women should be using? Why I'm asking specifically about women here is also because, working with women over the years, I do find sometimes that women do think tech is difficult. It's an inbuilt thing that comes, that tech might be difficult, adapting tech, but without tech any business cannot scale in today's world. Be it what Padmavati is doing, and obviously Chaitra, for you, I'm sure you use a lot of tech, like you were talking about webinars, etc. too. So and for us at Bitphone, that is what we are trying to enable. So, knowing from women like you what you are using and what you feel is missing, will help companies like ours to really work backwards and, find those solutions. Since we do everything in house, it's easier for us to, if we know the problems, we really can, find the solutions and collaborate on those lines instead of just throwing away a tool at some entrepreneur and saying, use this. If we know, what do you think is missing too? One is what you think you are using is good, but another, I would also like to know what you think is missing that, should become more available and easy, which will help businesses to scale, which is your individual businesses you can take examples of, or in general. Please do share your thoughts.
So I've used tech from the grassroots level. Started off with Google Forms,
Yeah.
and then to us, to customized forms on our own website, things like
Yes.
that. So we've used everything at different
Yeah.
stages.
Yeah.
From Zoom, I've tried many video conferencing. This thing, some were expensive, some were bandwidth was not enough, and now I was just going to ask you what's your pricing list after the meeting.
No,
But
certainly we will talk. And, so for us, Chaitra, it's much more than what you see here, that is video
yes,
conferencing. That is
yes,
just 10%. Obviously, you get this because we have this. But for us, it's really about working with you through really, helping you build your brand,
right.
through a complete channel. So we'll surely talk and I'll let you know the pricing, etc. on
Yes.
our discussion. Yes.
So I think when women, if we have worked in a corporate, we already have an idea ki what are all the different softwares we
Yeah.
use for
Yeah.
different things. Like Canva could be for your designing,
Absolutely.
project management could be MS Project
Yeah.
or any other Asana and all
Yeah.
that. But if
Awesome.
you have not worked anywhere, but
Yeah.
you're going to start off something on your own, and you're looking for a particular software,
Yeah.
you don't know what are the terms to search also on Google. What
Absolutely.
does asana mean? For a
I know.
layman, it would be a yoga asana.
Yeah, yeah. They would never
Yoga
be.
means.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't know terms like scrum or anything.
Yeah.
Now I want brands to describe themselves as to what is it, what can I as a home business owner or a very new entrepreneur, what is their product, how will it help me? So if you could actually make short videos on YouTube or whatever, and give us demos, that would be great, because women who have not worked on certain platforms wouldn't have any idea what to look for to begin with.
Absolutely. No, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And, like you rightly said, I think it's absolutely, a lame, a new business owner wouldn't understand that, right? For
Yes.
her or him, the goal is to ultimately sell. Customers, how to sell, what are the things that may be required. Because, we also hear a lot, suppose we are, before when I used to work with a lot of startups, etc. Even now we hear that the problem they are not getting customers is funds.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just funds, but actually when you are looking at their when you're talking to them, you feel like they don't even have a business plan to start with. Funds come much later. The major things come. So that knowledge also, having that knowledge, somebody equipping them with that knowledge is also so important.
Yes.
No, thanks a lot, Dr. Chatra. Padmavati, your views,
Yeah,
anything you'd like to share?
100% I agree with Chaitra. What she said is we are using all the tools day in and day out. All
Absolutely.
the digital marketing or accounting or all those things are done on tools nowadays. But as she said, a lot of new tools will not be known by the names they are given actually. It should be explained and described by small short videos and passed on so that people can understand what they are, and write small brief write-ups on those things, what it does and things like that should be more circulated so that people can understand those things better. So that
Yes.
is where is the challenge of finding out new tools actually.
Yes, yes. No, thanks a lot. And in fact, I just like to share with you both, and even people you may know, you may share. So what we do is every Friday, we invite all business owners to join us for a session at 6:30, where we talk about what are they looking for, and then live on video we explain what we do. This is like, obviously we can do one-on-one calls and give you the demos too, but this is a more, because somebody might not be comfortable to have a one-on-one discussion immediately, but they might just want to sit back and watch what it is.
Correct.
We is talking live, obviously. So and video live, us showing the entire platform, what it can do, etc. They being able to ask questions on the chat, but not really come forward and talk directly, because somebody might not be comfortable. They might want to gather all the information first, see if it fits, and then want to have a one-on-one call. So maybe things like that have worked wonderfully for us. So I would really invite, we both, obviously I'll have in one-on-one calls with you both, but otherwise if you feel there is someone who may want, and even for new startups or new businesses, I think this is one thing that really works, using
Yeah.
the power of video. Because like I was saying, even in the beginning, only 10% of India may know how to speak English, and most of the English in internet is English. I mean, written things are in the internet are English, but that means you are missing out on the 90% of the population who are also doing business. So through video, we can use any language, any, and video being vernacular, we can tap that market too.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for Padmavati for sharing that, what is required. And I hope a lot of brands around would take those inputs and, would work on them. And I would love to connect to both of you, of course, because, and Dr. Chaitra and Padmavati, both wonderful work you guys are doing. And like Shri and I keep saying, we have started this show obviously to get your stories out, but to also, build this circle, a network in Mysore, where we can actually see how we can work together and grow and collaborate, and in the Mysore market too. So thanks a lot. Thank you so much for giving us your time and being so candid on this show. It has been wonderful having you both. Thank you, Shri, once again for being a wonderful co-host. Anything, Shri, you would like to say as parting before we end?
So again, from my side also, I thank both of them. Very sweet of them to accept this
Absolutely.
invite and spending their time today with us. Definitely a lot of learning from each one of us, each one of you, and I think growing forward and going forward, it's more of understanding each other's strengths and leverage that for us to live from. Not everybody will have everything, but some things you would have, some things I would have, some things Dr. Chaitra would have, and very I would like to put it, I mean, it was really a pleasure, Chaitra, when I was invited at MSME talk. I'm telling you, the talk was on IPR, and the way it created that wave, that today they all are individually talking or asking, and that is the strength that we need to have with each other.
Yes.
We don't need anything else. The strength that we need is, okay, I have this, I know this, why don't you leverage this and leave from. You don't have to go through the same path that I have gone. And that is the beauty of Tier 2 cities, Ayushri. Absolute
Absolutely.
pleasure having you both here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
The
you.
honor and pleasure was ours, I think, to
Yeah, thank you
have
so much.
been
Thank you for having us.
invited on this August show. So I'm sure this is another feather in our caps that we can market ourselves as
No,
being
wonderful.
a
It's
good
the
phone
pleasure
show.
has been ours, totally. And I would invite you both to really join all the upcoming shows that we have. This is the seventh one. We have a few more in the pipeline. And also, for anyone who might have missed or you want to share it, obviously it's all you can see the live on all the social media channels through the Vidphone page, but also the link that you see above. That's the viewer link. There's a viewer link that I'll share with you. The same link the recording would be available in a few minutes. So, anyone who could not join now, if they click after we are done, they can just see the recording directly on the same link. So please feel free to share it across. And thank you once again. Have a lovely evening and a week ahead. Thank you all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you to everyone who's viewing us live also. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.